Okay, we're back on. So we were talking about how
Okay.
they are a more cohesive side
They're
under
more,
um
yes, under Thomas Tuchel. Yeah, and no PSG, that would be, I think that would be the advantage for them. Unfortunately, because Atalanta tends to press a lot. They're a team that press, come at you, they press in backs, if I may put it that way. So they have the ability to unsettle most sides. And with PSG, one player you would have ordinarily banked on to be able to, not just be able to keep things under control, Marco Verratti is a big doubt. He's most likely going to be missing the game. So that's going to be an interesting thing to see how Thomas Tuchel, Idrissa Gueye, is much more of a ball-winning midfielder. It's not someone who dictates the tempo of the game. It's not someone who controls possession. It's not someone who makes sure his teammates who can receive passes in tight corners as well as Verratti. So he's going to be a massive miss for the French side. Marquinhos has played a few times there, but of course, he's also played in that role as more of a ball-winning midfielder. So yeah, PSG is much more disciplined now. But when Atalanta hunts, when they come at you, it has the tendency of unsettling most sides. It'll be interesting to see how PSG copes with that, because it also determines how they transition from the defense to the attack. You have the likes of Mbappe if he makes it, Neymar and Icardi. If these guys are not getting the required service from the midfield, and because due to the Atalanta's press, it will be really hard for them to get service and to even get opportunities to score goals. So that's going to be a tactical dilemma for Tuchel. How does he go about dealing with the absence of Verratti and also Angel Di Maria? So, but PSG much more balanced side now. I'll still tip them favorites because of of course they have the burdens of talking about burdens of expectation. Do you think they will be able to order it, or do you expect them for the first time in 25 years to advance to the semi-finals?
well, if I'll give my before I get to my prediction, but if I'll give my prediction, I think PSG would be going through, and I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on them because for
do you expect them to succumb because
like you
do you expect them to
rightly
succumb under
said,
the weight?
like you rightly said, this is the test. This is the test when it comes to PSG to assess their growth over the years, because when it comes to the Ligue 1, they've shown over the years consistently that they, except just on season where Monaco unseated them, but apart from that, they've shown consistently that it's a given for them. So it's no longer the benchmark for judging them, for assessing their season or the success they've had. Their success is now measured with what they achieve in Europe. So the pressure is going to be there. And then they have an opponent who is making their debut in the UEFA Champions League, and there's no much pressure. So that's going to tell on the game. But I think they will handle it very well. We saw them against Borussia Dortmund, even after a very exciting first leg, where we're not so sure about how they were going to handle the second leg, but they did magnificently well and good through. And I think that they actually have enough this season to get one over Atalanta. And I was going to ask you about Ilicic. It's very unfortunate the circumstances under which he's missing the game. He has scored almost
very, very unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate. He has scored almost one third of Atalanta's goals in the Champions League this season. He has 5.
Yeah.
The team has 16.
Yeah, he's the top scorer.
Yeah, he's the top scorer for them. Apart from him, they only have 2 other multiple goal scorers. That is Pasalic and then I'm not so sure who have only 2 goals each. So I feel that they are a system, they're a club that it's more of the system.
Yeah, than the individual.
Yeah, than individual. So what do you think? Do you think they're going to miss him? Or because I've seen them against Juve, where even after they made their 5 changes, they were still having a go at Juve like there was no change in personnel. And that shows that it's about the system. So do you think Ilicic, he has scored 5 goals, but you cannot take away the fact that 4 of those goals came in just a game. So how do you think it's going to impact on their performance?
Well, like you said, Atalanta isn't. Yeah, of course, they have outstanding individuals: Pasalic, Ilicic, Zapata, Muriel, Alejandro Gomez.
Who looks like, sometimes I see him, I think it's Messi, you know.
Yeah. So they have outstanding individuals, but the way Gasperani has built this side is such that if you're able coming in from the sidelines and you're coming in, it's a system. It's more of the system. You fit in. You don't. It's not solely built on an individual. So I think, and Ilicic, yeah, 5 goals, but 4 goals came in the second leg against Valencia, and that shows that prior to that game he had just 1. So it's not really about him now. Of course, it's a big loss for them, and who knows what could possibly have, how it possibly would have helped Atalanta even in their unlikely Serie A charge if he had been present, if he had been around. I think Atalanta is more of the system. Whoever comes in Gasperani has built a system that, of course, there are quality players. There are players you will miss more than others. There are players who will probably leave more gaping holes than others. But whoever comes in always seamlessly fits in with little or no pressure or no effort. So I think whoever is coming in, and Atalanta have had like 4 or 5 weeks to play without Ilicic, even though this is a game of a different complexion. And they probably have got used to not having him. I will say, of course, it's still a big loss, but you know, they are gradually getting used to not having him in the starting lineup. So I think they will cope fine. I expect them to cope fine because the system, the way Atalanta team is built, is not built on an individual. It's built on collective. So I don't a big loss, but I don't expect it to have a determining factor in the outcome. Except, of course, Atalanta turns out not to score, which, from what you've seen, is highly unlikely. 16 goals in the Champions League. They are the 5th highest goal scorers in the Champions League. So I don't expect that to be so much of a factor.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I was just thinking about, we mentioned Ilicic. What about Mbappe? 9 contributions to goals, 5 goals, 4 assists for PSG this season in the Champions League. They have 20 goals. That's almost 1/2 of their goals. Like, he's contributed to 1/2 of their goals, directly involved. I think he's going to be, you know. And one funny thing, do you think he's the main man for them? Or do you think it's Mbappe or Neymar? Because Neymar wanted to go to PSG to have his own thing. Now it looks like, you know, it's no longer his team, it's Mbappe's team. Who is the face of PSG for you?
On
the football pitch. On the football pitch.
On the football pitch is Neymar. On the football pitch is Neymar. Okay. I still think it's Neymar. And Neymar this season has had one of his more productive, seasons.
I agree.
PSG.
I agree.
He looks a lot more happier now compared to last season. He looks more settled. It looks like he actually loves the team and is willing to shoulder the team and take responsibility for whatever happens on the pitch for his team. So he looks a lot more mature in that regards now. Maybe he needed a bit of Mbappe to just jolt him up and just get him fired up and say, "Oh no, this is my team." No, maybe if there was no Mbappe, he probably has felt relaxed or comfortable that he was a king. But I think Mbappe is the local poster boy for me. He's the boy from French boy, grew up in Paris, playing for the team of his dreams. So in that sense, yeah, he's someone who probably who you associate more with the locals in France. But I think talking about the international, the standard star boy in that team, is still Neymar for me. It's still Neymar. And he's really, really come of age this season. Well, come of age at the age of 28, but yeah, he had to just come of age.
So I was going to ask you, if you're going to rank the teams that are left in the Champions League, where would you rank PSG? Like, if you pick your favorite, your favorite in the Champions League, where will you?
I'll rank PSG third.
That means you're ranking them above Barca.
Definitely. But Barca has the pedigree, but Barca is the front line has lost guile. As of course with Messi, anything can still happen. But
I think they are so dependent. I think they are dependent on Messi.
It's a Messi dependent team. They can only go out.
Go on.
They can only go as far as Messi can take them. The front line is doesn't have pace. Uh, is aging. Suarez is 33. Messi, despite all his brilliance, is 33. Antoine Griezmann, who is the youngest of the starting 11, is 29. The midfield is also, aside Arturo Vidal, I think they lack mobility in that midfield. De Jong doesn't, of course, is a great passer of the ball, he's great at ball retention, but it doesn't look like someone who is mobile enough. Sergio Busquets has never been the fastest of players. Yeah, maybe Rakitic too, but it's Vidal that's really the mobile one in that midfield. And that's the reason why they even bought Antoine Griezmann, because of his work rate. But it's really not worked out. So if you can have a go at Barca's midfield, if you run at it, you're almost facing a defense who, for me, has another, like, Barca's defense has never been this strength, and now it even looks weaker. PK is a year older. They still have issues at the right back. Is it Sergio Roberto? Is it Nelson Semedo? PK hasn't had, of course, Lenglet has had been an able deputy, but it's not the type of defender you want or the sidekick you want. If you want your team to challenge in for the Champions League.
Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back to Atalanta PSG. Atalanta PSG.
Okay.
If you are Tuchel, how will you approach this match? Like, considering the pressure on you, considering that Atalanta will be free spirited and they will just go for it. How would you approach the game?
Well, I think the important thing is, I think with Atalanta, they will press you. They will press. So it's important you find a way to beat that press. Remind the boys that even if don't be in a hurry to go gung-ho with this Atalanta side. Don't commit silly fouls. Don't try as much as possible to beat that press. Try as much as possible to make sure the front three especially gets quality service, because I think that will be very important. Try as much as possible. Yeah, beating the press will be key. Getting the front three. If the front three can create opportunities, this is probably if they're talking about front line, probably this is the most lethal in Europe. I'm not talking about the individual. I'm talking about as a collective. Mbappe, Neymar, Icardi. They've all scored 20 and above goals in all competitions. So they're talking about a front line that if they get chances, they will score. The important thing is, does PSG have enough in the midfield to get the ball to them? That's going to be the interesting question, because Verratti is missing, Di Maria is out. So you'll probably be looking at much more conservative counter-attacking approach from PSG. I won't be surprised, because Tuchel has also shown that he can adapt, and that's the qualities of a great manager. He can adapt to team absences, can adapt to the opposition. So Atalanta will come all out. It's important they utilize whatever pace they get to catch them on the break. I think that will be because Atalanta wouldn't change. Atalanta is, like you said, free spirited. They believe so much in attacking, breathless attacking football. So
with the absence of Di Maria and Verratti, I would love to really see how the midfield battle is going to shape up, because Atalanta will be there, packing the midfield with the four in the middle, supported by the three up fronts who are going to be, pressing all over. It's going to be really very interesting to see how PSG are going to cope. But they have experience hands both at the back and in the middle as well.
Yeah.
Thiago Silva.
Thankfully, they still have Thiago Silva. Yeah.
Who I think, will be giving his all, because he's leaving PSG at the end of the season. And he has been captain for a lot of years. And, I'm sure he will want to win the Champions League this season, just to, at least to justify.
And he may never get the opportunity again. Yeah. He may never ever get the opportunity to play at this level again. He's 35. So talking about, and the clubs he's been linked with are not clubs currently competing in the
Champions League.
Competing in the Champions League next season. So he's a big leader for them. Hopefully brings other personalities, and he's got loads of experience. It's an interesting time. If it was 2 years ago, I said probably a scoreline of 5-4, but I don't think we'll have that this time around. I think Paris Saint-Germain is a lot more experienced. That's why I really tip them to go far. I probably rank them third behind Manchester City and Bayern. They're a lot more experienced side. They're a lot more cohesive units, even though the front three are not.
Coming to your ranking, who is ahead, Manchester City or Bayern?
Bayern Munich. Bayern. Bayern.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I think my favorite is
Bayern.
Manchester City.
I still think Manchester City. Bayern's biggest enemy for me is complacency. They have a tendency to drift off, and probably whoever appears David, the center of defense. I think that if you have a run at Sula, if Boateng doesn't make it, you can get at them. But
because
every other part of the field, they look
because
confused. Manchester City, and they can adapt. Bayern does not have a plan A kind of system. They can play. They can outpossess you. They can decide to go sit back a deep and counter. They can use the wings. They are pacey. They've got a little forward, the best in the world, 53 goals this season. In Robert Lewandowski. So they just got the complete squad. If I'm permitted to use that word. But Manchester City, on their day, probably played the better football.
Now, I think that the format, for me, I believe that the format is going to really favor Manchester City. That's what I think. I think with the.
But I personally think it will favor teams like Atletico. I think it will favor teams.
No, I'm talking in comparison. In comparison to
Bayern Munich.
Bayern.
Okay.
But if it's about the cup mentality, one fixture, I think Simeone might be the guy for this occasion. I've always said that you might really not know how this is going to pan out, and Atletico might just be the surprise package that everybody's not really thinking about, because and the truth is, over the years, it's been very difficult for teams to beat them, except maybe Real Madrid, and that's
it's been basically Real Madrid and Cristiano Ronaldo. No, Juve last season. So yeah. And Juve is out. So
Juve is out. So it's a very interesting one. Then so I mentioned Keylor Navas earlier. How key do you think he will be to PSG's campaign?
No, is a but talking about winners, players who have done it, who have been key protagonists in team successes. Keylor Navas readily comes to mind. If you're talking about probably, of course, he's an underrated goalkeeper. He's an underrated goalkeeper. He's not the first person to come to your mind when you're talking about top-class goalkeeper, but he's consistently shown over the years that he's reliable, he's dependable, he can make saves. Whenever you need him, you can call upon him. And he's won titles to match all these qualities. So he's going to be probably a calming presence. He's probably not the most vocal, but reflexes, he's got it, and he's got that experience. You're part of the Champions League squad that's won it 3 years in a row. I mean, you take away nothing from, regardless of how Real Madrid and particularly Florentino Perez may have treated him. He's an outstanding goalkeeper. He's an outstanding goalkeeper.
It's very rare you see a goalkeeper win 3 consecutive Champions League and he's shipped out
and still get booted out. Yeah, it's very rare.
No,
it's very rare. Only one person can do that.
Before even getting booted out, he sits on the bench, he plays second field for a season. It's a different thing if he was even moved on,
So it's very rare. And compared to the goalkeepers Paris Saint-Germain have had in the last few years, Areola, Sirigu, Gigi. This is like,
if we look at it again, Gigi was actually responsible in part for their loss last year to Manchester United.
Elimination too.
He had a terrible.
Do we say in part because you like him? He was responsible. You say in part. Lukaku played short. He spilled it. The only thing I won't fault him for is the penalty, concession of the late penalty. And
that's why I said in part. That's why I said in part. And then at the end of the day, it all comes down to the structure and to the organization of the team. But he has the larger part of the blame for their elimination last year.
But Navas, at least you can say it's been like an upgrade. It's been an upgrade.
Yes, he is. They've considered 4 goals in this season Champions League, an average of 1 in 2 games, which is really impressive. So
for a Paris Saint-Germain team that has 3 attackers that don't like to fall back, so that's impressive.
They have the best defensive record of all teams left. The Champions League. So, and that is almost on PSG like. If you compare their campaigns over the years. So I think that's it's impressive, and I'm going to see how everything is going to play out come this fixture. So but let's go with the predictions because we're almost running out of time. So what's your prediction? I think there will be a lot of goals. I feel there will be goals.
Okay, you think there will be a lot of goals? Why do you think there will be lots of goals?
Not lots, but I think there will be goals because I'm going for a 3-1 win for PSG.
So Atalanta, despite scoring 98 goals and 16 in Champions League, think they'll score one?
Yeah, I think one. Just one.
Interesting. This is tough. I think, PSG will edge it, but I think I personally don't see this one having too many goals. I think 2-1 to Paris Saint-Germain. Yeah, 2-1 to PSG.
Okay, that's fine then. Let's see how it goes then.
But both of us agree on one thing: PSG will advance.
Hopefully, but recently I've actually been spot on with my predictions. Juve.
I saw that Juve. And you guys ended up mocking Taka. Was it good enough? I mean, I don't know.
And then the thing is that it was just objective because those were the guys I want to go through. Like Real Madrid and Juve. But I looked at it and I'm like, these guys won't make it. Maybe Real Madrid.
How did you think Juve would? Real Madrid was
maybe a little bit
much more likelihood.
Yeah, but Juve, I just thought they won't make it. Because I've looked at them over the past few games before the Serie ended. They were nothing spectacular. It was just the experience there. They were just getting themselves through games, the experience with some maybe moments of magic. And in games of this nature, you need a little bit more than just the experience and then luck. Although the experience counts, but you need a little more. And I didn't think they had it in them. So I just said Juve are going to crash out, and he found out. And then the Chelsea one, well, that one settled. Then I didn't feel that Napoli could go to the
overturn it. Win.
They started very well, but I just didn't think they had it in them.
No, but Sam, a better side would have knocked out Barcelona. Napoli had doubled the amount of chances Barca had.
I think the difference for Barca was just Messi. Apart from that, they were very flat. They were really flat.
Yeah.
So
that's just the key thing. Messi. If Messi turns up, Barca has a chance. But if Messi turns up and is a very strong opposition, you still have to doubt Barca's chances.
La Liga has shown that even against the so-called smaller sides, there are days that even Messi will turn up, but everything just won't come together, and that's why you need a team. That's why you need the other guys to step up when it matters the most. But I'm not even sure Barca have all those in them this season. So it's gonna be very exciting. Let's see how it goes. But this one, I think PSG is gonna make it. So
PSG.
Okay, now.
So when do we come back for the second preview? Leipzig Atletico.